You know that feeling? When you're just more comfortable on your own than in a big crowd? Or maybe you know someone like that, who just seems to prefer their own company. Well, we're going to dive into the psychology behind what makes some people walk a more solitary path. And trust me, the explanation, it's probably not what you're thinking.
It's a question that pops up all the time, right? Why do some people have no friends? You see it online, maybe you've even thought it yourself. And let's be honest, it's a question that's kind of loaded with judgment. Why is it that some people seem to have a really small social circle, or maybe no close friends at all? Well, society has a very quick, very simple answer for that.
And spoiler alert, that answer is usually pretty negative. The go-to assumption is that being alone is basically a sign of social failure. You know, the idea that if someone doesn't have this big, bustling group of friends, there must be something wrong with them. But what if that entire assumption is completely 100% backward? All right, so let's get into a different explanation. Because psychology offers a much deeper, way more nuanced take on this whole thing. It suggests that for a lot of people, having few friends isn't about failure at all. In fact, it's often the result of a very specific, and I'd even say powerful, set of psychological traits. So here's the breakdown, the two sides of the story. On one hand, you have the common stereotype, right? That being a loner means you must be socially awkward or unlikable, that it's some kind of personal failing. But then you look at the psychology behind it, and it tells a totally different story. It's not about what's lacking, it's about what's there in abundance. Things like high social perception, a really low tolerance for inauthenticity, and this deep emotional self-reliance. So let's break down what these things actually mean.
All right, so let's call this first trait what it really is. It's kind of like a superpower. We'll call it the authenticity detector. And I want you to really get this. This is not a flaw. It's a finely tuned skill, and it completely changes how you see and interact with the world around you.
Okay, so the technical term for this is high social perception. But really, just think of it like having social X-ray vision. It means you see beyond the surface level stuff. You can read a room almost instantly. You pick up on all those tiny, subtle cues. You can just sense the real intentions behind what people are saying and doing. You know that gut feeling you get when someone's smiling but it doesn't quite reach their eyes? Yeah, that's it.
So, what does this actually feel like day to day? Well, having that high perception means you spot fake behavior instantly. And because you see it so clearly, you have a really low tolerance for it. I mean, why would you waste energy on shallow, inauthentic conversations? This is exactly why small talk can feel so incredibly draining. And it's why you find yourself craving just a few, but very deep, very real, authentic connections.
And this next thought it nails it. It's not that you can't play the social game. It's that you see it's a game and you'd rather not play. This is so crucial. It's not about a lack of ability to socialize, not at all. People with this trait can see all the rules of the social game with absolute clarity. They just make a conscious choice not to play, because to them, it just feels meaningless. Okay, let's get to the second superpower, which really builds on the first. We're going to call this one your inner compass. And this is all about a fundamental question. Where do you get your emotional strength from? So the psychological term here is emotional self-reliance. Just think of it like being your own emotional anchor in a storm. It's this ability to manage your own feelings, to regulate yourself, and to find your sense of balance from within. You just don't need that constant stream of external validation, the likes, the comments, the praise from other people, to feel okay about who you are. And this really gets to the heart of it. A lot of people go to social events to sort of charge their emotional batteries, right? They feed off the group energy. But if you have this inner compass, you show up with your batteries already full. You don't get your emotional energy from the group. You bring your own. And that means you just don't need the group in the same way. So, okay, what if all this stuff, the authenticity detector, the inner compass, what if it's really resonating with you? The big question is, what do you do with that? How do you embrace this way of being, especially in a world that doesn't always seem to get it? Well, it all starts with a simple shift in how you see it.
Let's walk through 3 simple, powerful steps. First up, reframe the language. Stop thinking of yourself as lonely and start using the word selective. You're not alone because no one wants you. You're selective because you value what's real. Number 2, trust that gut feeling. That authenticity detector isn't you being negative or cynical. It's your compass pointing you toward real, meaningful connections. So listen to it. And finally, number 3, value your inner compass. That emotional self-reliance is a genuine strength. It gives you incredible stability in what can be a pretty chaotic world.
And that really brings us to the final big question to leave you with. What if your solitude isn't a problem that you need to solve? What if it's just a preference for the real? In a world that, let's face it, is often anything but. Just something to think about.